Hey, good evening. Good afternoon, depending where you are, or maybe just around lunch. Wow, 10 to 5 where I am, guys. Jeff from Home Renovision here. Today we are going to dive into this. Never thought I'd see myself covering current events, but here we are, right? Dealing with probably the biggest catastrophe that's ever hit Texas. And that might sound like a bit of a shocker to you if you're from Texas because you remember the hurricanes, but this is going to be a really big deal, guys. I'm just going to give everybody a few minutes to jump into the chat. While we're here, I'm going to encourage you, if you're watching the show after the live broadcast, we're going to encourage everybody the entire time. I want everybody to hit the like button on this video. I want everybody to share this video with everybody they know. Use that share button, get to work. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, do it right away. Every positive signal, comment in the comment section. Every positive signal that we can send to YouTube is going to result in this video getting shown and larger audience so that we can help more people, okay? I've been watching a lot of news today. No one's giving advice on what to do to avoid having a flood. And so generally speaking, this really sucks, but we're here in Canada. We get this weather all the time, but we build our houses for it. Am I too far? Yeah? Okay, so what I want to encourage you guys to do is understand that it is a catastrophe. You can't have the kind of cold temperature you've had for 3 days and then not have power and not have prepared in advance for it and get a good result on the other side, okay? Bottom line, at this temperature, water doesn't just freeze, it expands when it freezes. Any steel or copper line in your house is going to blow. You're going to have issues. Okay? Like, nobody probably prepared you for this truth. There's too many videos going around the internet right now. People that got the water from the second floor raining through the house. That was totally avoidable. All right? Let's cut the crap. If you own a home and you have yet to have the power restored, the first thing I want you to do, go buy the house. Turn off the water supply to your house at the street. You're in Texas, you probably got a little green box, right? Out by the front door. And the water supply line, it's right there. It's like 6 inches below the ground. I know there's gonna be a lot of stories. And hi, Sandy. Let me get through this first. Okay, I want to get some good information out there for you. Because there are things we can do to mitigate this from happening again, but there are things you need to know for right now, like today. This is the end of the third day of cold temperatures. It's starting to warm up a little bit for you guys, and that's dangerous because as long as it's cold, the water stays frozen. But as soon as you turn on the heat or it starts to warm up, you're in a lot of trouble, guys. So I want you to listen to what I got to say. Copper is a very soft metal. It's really easy to manipulate and to torch and to solder and to bend. That's why we use it for plumbing, okay? And it doesn't cost a lot of money. Generally speaking, it's easy to mine. It is also really susceptible to splitting under pressure of freezing water. Unbelievable what's about to happen. So let's just go through this. What I'm going to do is I'm doing about a 25-minute video here, and then I'm going to take a quick little break, and then we're going to come back and go live again. And I'm going to open up the phone line to anybody in the area who has got problems or questions or wants to talk about how to save their bacon before they hit the bad news, okay? Once this video, the phone number goes out, I'm screwed. I'm going to have to call the telephone company and get a new phone number, but that's fine. We might end up sitting here all weekend long, live, answering phone calls, helping people. And I'm cool with that if you guys need it, okay? Make sense? All right. So first, let's deal with the issue. Your house without heat for 3 days is the same temperature inside as it is outside. You're guaranteed a burst pipe at the temperatures you've been experiencing. This is not sensational. I'm not just some joker from YouTube. I'm telling you right now, I've been in contracting since I was 12. I did my first contract for a basement on my own at 16. I spent 7 years in disaster restoration. I've been involved in organizing crews to deal with catastrophic citywide flooding. I know my business, and I'm here to tell you, you guys are about to experience a really bad result if you have the water on and you bring heat back into your home. You've got to turn the water off at the street. Now, later in tonight's broadcast, I'm going to talk a little bit more extensively about how to avoid this in the future. But for right now, let's deal with today's situation. All of the water that comes from the city goes under your slab, because most of you guys are on slab. Everything under your slab is safe, okay? Because believe it or not, it kind of insulates those lines. The ground temperature has heat, and it's constantly coming up, all right? And so your slab kind of creates like an insulate, like a thermal barrier. It's not a great one, but it's going to be enough in most cases to protect the water lines under your slab from breaking. I think we're going to be okay after only 3 days. Generally, the house will hold heat for the first 24 hours, so you really only got 2 days of that temperature. You're hard to get more than 6 inches of frost, so I think you're going to be all right. Let's not get too dramatic, all right? But where it comes out of the concrete slab and starts to enter your home is where you have issues. Some of you got your heat back before there was enough cold temperature in your house, and it didn't freeze and expand. It just froze, and you're lucky. A lot of you still have your power off. So really the message is for everybody who's yet to turn their power back on and bring heat back to their home. Understand this. Your pipes are already broken. They're already busted. The only reason it's not raining in your house is because they're still full of ice. It's frozen. So what you need to do is you need to go and turn off the water to the street, okay? Find something else. Check every function in the house, every toilet, every sink, okay? Anything that's working, you don't have to worry about. If you have shutoff valves, you can use those, all right? But see if there's any water pressure coming from any of those other areas, okay? Try to mitigate the amount of water that's between the street, and your home. Water flows at about 1.5 gallons a minute. 5 gallons to 7 gallons a minute. So I was thinking about shower heads for a second. 5 gallons, that's a great big pail, okay? You see them in the Home Depot or it's a full-size pail. That's 1 pail of water every minute that can come out of 1 burst pipe, okay? Now, it takes a minute for that water to travel from the street to that burst pipe. So if you shut the street off, you're only going to have to deal with 1 pail of water potentially, maybe even less if you've got a couple of lines that are actually working. You can release the pressure in the house by letting some of the water run through things that are still working. And then when that happens and the line is busted and the house warms up, you'll get some water in the house and your ceiling might get wet and it might discolor, your paint might peel. That's just cosmetic. And you know, a home made of drywall and wood can really get wet and dry out over a few days. And majority of situations, you can return to normal. The paint job, maybe a little patch and repair. You're not going to have rain coming out of the ceiling. But if you don't turn off the water to the street before you heat your house, once the power is restored, then you run the risk of that city water supply just firing into your house the entire time until you shut it off. I'm telling you right now, yeah, I know there's people who already got busting pipes all over the place. I get it. I want you to understand that everywhere in your house where you've got plumbing, you might have a burst. There's really no safe zone. So you've got to actually physically inspect this stuff. You're rolling the dice, right? So if you have a 2-story home, start with the 2nd floor, all right? Take a look at your water supply to your bathrooms. Feel free to open up a ceiling or 2 and do actual inspections, see what's going on. Or you can have somebody on a phone on the water shut off and someone inside, and you can say, okay, open it up, and you can do slowly, like we do when we do plumbing on a construction site. Matt and I, we have a thing, we both get on the phone together, and he'll open up the valve a little bit, and we'll pressurize the line slowly. And if we have any problem, you can hear it right away. It just goes, right? You hear that, you go, shut it off, and then you can then find a bit of a water stain. You'll be able to isolate the break, and you'll be able to deal with it before it floods out your whole house, okay? Wow. Now, listen, guys, once more time, let's go through this for anybody just joining in, because YouTube always brings you into the current part of the live stream. In order to help people and get this message to them, hit the thumbs up button. Use the share. Use the little arrow. Hit that and email everybody you know, all right? If you haven't subscribed to the channel, do it. If you're in trouble, we're probably going to do some major pivoting over the next couple of weeks and bring you restoration videos, what to do in the event of emergency like this, how to fix your house. There's already a labor shortage out there. All right. I don't know how long it's going to take for plumbers to actually get out and around to do the repair work. You can't just go to Home Depot and get the fittings. They're probably sold out. Every plumber in town hit the store day one and just bought everything up, anticipating this mess. So if you have friends and family from out of state or a little further outside of your zone that are able to pick up supplies for you, then that'd be great. They can drop them off. You can do your own plumbing. We'll do plumbing videos. We'll show you how to fix, replace pipes. We've got some on our channel already. You know, how to go from copper to PEX conversion, right? Because PEX anybody can use. And that'll work. And then we'll teach you how to tear out the drywall. We'll show you how to patch and repair, how to dry the home. Remember, down in the South, you guys don't use vapor barrier between your wood and your drywall. So you have a couple of major concerns here. One of them is going to be the water event itself, okay? Forget all the trauma and like, I hear you, the trauma of having broken infrastructure, hospitals flooding out, the no stores, you got COVID, for the love of God, in the midst of all of this. It's still freezing cold. You can't find food. There's no clean water supply. You're going to have to be on a boil water advisory probably for the next few weeks while they repair their infrastructure. Compound all of that. Now your house is soaking wet if you have a water event. But let's talk real danger is now the next stage after that. All of your houses are built with wood. Hey, cheers, Katie. I hope you guys are doing okay out there in North Carolina. I'm not sure what the weather is like. Send us a quick comment. Let us know what it's like out in North Carolina. If this is weather that you're used to, or are you on the edge of it, or are you right in the middle of it? Love to know. Your wood structure and your drywall are laminated together now. You don't have a plastic barrier like we use for our insulation, which means that wet drywall is now the perfect feeding ground for the mold that's naturally occurring in the wood. And you're going to have mold growth like you've never seen before. So what the mitigation process is after you have a flood like this, you get an insurance company out. They're going to cut out all the drywall, usually 2 to 4 feet, depending how much water, so that everything can dry out. You don't have to wait for them. Cutting drywall is not something you go to college to learn how to do, all right? You can literally just take a chalk line, measure from the floor to the ground at 2 feet. And the reason we use 2 feet is because that means you get one sheet of drywall, you can cut it in half and use again. So every sheet you get 16 linear feet of wall fixed, okay? And you can just take a knife, set the depth to 1/2 inch, and just run it and run it and run it, okay? And then just pop all the drywall off the screws and nails. It's not that hard, all right? But we'll show a video on that. You got to let your house dry out. If you have a water event, you're looking, when it's cold especially, it's 3 to 5 days to dry it out with fans, okay? If you have the heat back on. So you're going to have to be a little patient, right? There's lots of folks who've been through hurricanes and you've seen them as well. You've probably had this experience before. This is not going to be a big deal. Now, once again, I'm going to bring the news live. We'll do it one more time. Then we're going to get off the air. We're going to put this up as a video on our channel. Hopefully YouTube grabs it and throws it all over the internet and helps people out. But here's the deal. If you are in the area where you've had 3 days of cold weather and you've had no electricity, your home has broken pipes. I don't care what it's made of, who your God is. The point is this. No heat means water freezes, it expands, it blows your pipes up. As soon as the heat is restored when the power turns back on, you're in a lot of trouble if you haven't turned the water off at the city. Okay, the city supply must be turned off to save your bacon, or you're going to have potentially 3 to 5 different places in your home where you've got a burst pipe. Okay, and that means 3 or 5 places in your home that are pushing at 1.5 gallons a minute, and that is scary as hell. All right, that's just way too much water. Yeah, thanks guys for the super chat. That's nice. You know, we appreciate the love, but the point of this broadcast here right now is to let you know, if you go by the street, there's a little green box. You take the lid off, just a few inches down, you've got a shutoff valve. Now I know they sell a key. It's a special key. It's $10. You can probably maneuver something or talk to a neighbor. Someone in that street's going to have a key. Quarter turn clockwise. Okay. If your pipe is like this and the valve handle is like this, it's open. Okay. Turn it so it's perpendicular. That means the water is now off. It's a quarter turn. And then you can actually have the heat come back to your house. You'll get some water in your house. Try to open up as many faucets and flush toilets and stuff as you can to move whatever pressure is in the line and then release it all. But the things that don't work, that's where you want to focus your attention. Maybe open up the wall on the back of a shower in the closet. Have a physical inspection. A burst pipe is really simple. It looks just like a pipe with like a huge welt on it, and it's split right open. Okay? No, that's okay. Not right now, Matt. Matt was trying to get me a prop, but that's not going to be necessary. The point is this: use two people to use the phone. One on the shutoff valve and one inside the house. Okay? There is a possibility, depending on how much time you were without power, that the water just froze, or you had intermittent power and you had a little bit of heat here and there, and then the water just froze. Because on our weather scale, 0, the water freezes. I think for you that's 32. You guys are down to -6 on your scale, and for us that's -20. Now in -20, our scale, I mean, just talk weather turkey here. At -10, halfway between where it freezes, like -3 for you. No. 32 to -6. What the hell is that? I don't know, 16? -16? No. 16 degrees, 12 degrees, somewhere around there. Dear Lord, I got to learn my math. Somewhere around there, water goes from frozen to expansion, okay? And the colder it gets, the more it expands. This is the law of life. So anybody who's telling you to just, go home and no big deal, I don't know why the city has done nothing about it in the first place. If I was the mayor of your town, I would have had everybody that worked for my town out turning everybody's bloody water off. I'll tell you that right now. This is ridiculous that it never happened. The other thing that should have happened, maybe we'll talk a little prevention. The next time something like this is heading your way, make sure you got a piece of insulation about this big. Take the green lid off to your water supply, put the insulation in that hole, and put the lid back on. What that's going to do is it's going to create a barrier between the cold temperature in the air and the heat coming up out of the ground, and it's going to insulate your shutoff valve and your pipe connection so that it doesn't burst. At least your toilets will work on the other side of the disaster. That's something. All right. Now, if you have PEX and you don't have copper, great question. All right. If you have PEX and you left the faucet dripping, water that moves doesn't tend to freeze as easy, okay? But at -20, right? I mean, but PEX also has the ability to get frozen and expand and not burst. Having said that, there's really 3 kinds of PEX connection system. There's a stainless steel pinch crimp ring. Under freezing conditions, they fail. There's the solid copper ring that does a really good job. And then there's the Uponor expansion system, which is the premium installation, okay, to guard against freezing. If you have PEX, you're lucky. For everybody who didn't want to put in PEX because they were worried about the quality of their drinking water, well, here we are. We have 2 ways that we can die in this world, and one is really slowly through toxins, and one is through a tragic event. and personally, I'm on board with a little bit of toxin in my system if I can avoid having a natural disaster like this in my house. So sign me up for PEX and the poison if it's in there. Who knows? I'm not going to say it is or not, but I would much prefer having PEX. Now listen, Matt, what time did we start this broadcast?
18 minutes ago.
18 minutes ago. All right. I'm going to have to do this one more time. Yeah, I'll repeat, Alice, about the installation. I'm going to repeat the whole message because if you're just joining us, guys, we're live. We're giving advice to people to help them avoid catastrophic loss in your home. We don't want you to get flooded out, okay? Oh, so let's start from the beginning. If you're one of these people that not only had the freezing cold temperatures, but you lost your power and you lost your heat, if you lost it for 1 day, you should be fine, okay? If you lost it for 2 days, then your house became the same temperature as outside. The water in your pipes froze. All right. If you didn't shut off the water and drain all the lines and prepare like we do when we're going to go to Florida for the winter, that's what we do at our houses. We drain all the water, right? Your water system looks a lot like our irrigation systems here. So what we do in the wintertime is we actually have a service team come over. They turn off all the water. They use high pressure air hoses and they blow out all the water from the lines. We don't leave any water in our irrigation system. Your houses work almost exactly the same for your water supply. You got that little green box by the road, and there's a shutoff valve under the lid, 6 inches below the ground, okay? If the shutoff valve is in line with your pipe, it means it's open. And you need to put a special key on it and turn it a quarter turn to shut the water off. All right? Now, for future prevention, if you put insulation on top of all that and put the lid back down, you would actually trap the ground heat that's rising up and keeping that from freezing. Won't work forever at -6, but it'll work for a few days. Now, once you've got the water off, you can go in the house, check to see what's working, what's not working. Try to get all the extra pressure out of the line. Okay, identify what doesn't have any water coming out at all. All right, make a list. This toilet, that sink, cold's good, but the hot's bad. Shower's good, whatever. And then when it's time for you to actually test your plumbing, you can turn everything in the house off. Put one person on the street, one person in the house, okay? Do physical inspections where it makes sense, like open up a closet wall, right, where you have a shower, and check the plumbing in the wall of the shower system, especially on second floors, okay? Because you can just throw a little plastic trap door on it afterwards. You don't even have to know how to do drywall and paint. Then you, on the phone, you communicate with someone at the street to open up the water slowly, a little bit of pressure. And then check to see what happens. If nothing is leaking and you don't hear any rushing water, what will happen is the house will pressurize and you'll hear water flowing everywhere. But if you hear the sound, that's a leak. If you see water anywhere, that's a leak. But if it's just flowing, it can just be pressurizing. Usually a whole house with 2 bathrooms and a kitchen and a laundry area will pressurize within 10 seconds. All right? 10 to 15, depending on how much you open the valve. But if you have the valve open for 15, 20 seconds and it's still not pressurizing the house, you got a hole somewhere, turn it off. All right? You've only let a couple gallons of water in, and that's a minor water issue. It's cosmetic. It's not going to flood your house out. All right? Listen, I spent a lot of years in insurance restoration when I was younger. I dealt with catastrophic loss. I know what I'm talking about. Listen to my advice. Save yourself a major disaster and turn off the damn water before you heat your home. Okay? Better to go a couple of hours and we're good to go. Now, yes, and hit the like button. Share this video with everyone you know. Send all those positive signals that we can to YouTube right now to get this message out. We're going to get off the air now. We're going to jump back in just a few minutes. I'm going to take phone calls from anybody who wants to talk. You better be in the disaster zone, though. I don't want to just talk about your last weekend. I want to be here to help you people out, whoever you are. If you've got a problem, if you're experiencing weather that you don't know how to deal with, you've moved to a new region, you're not sure about your building science, you don't know how the house is made, you didn't understand this message, that's fine. We're here to help you out, okay? That's what Canadians do. And to be honest with you, I missed the weather message because I was busy digging out 3 feet of snow. Yeah, that was my day yesterday. I wasn't even watching the news. One of my friends from Texas actually gave me a call and was letting me know how horrible it was. I was like, wow. So we decided to just push everything aside. We're here to help you out. Now, let's get, I know the calls thing. It's a recipe for disaster. I trust my DIY nation when they call me to be respectful. Okay. If we run into problems where people are being rude and lewd and crude, I'm just going to have to turn that option off and we'll work it in the chat. But honestly, I'm willing to give it a try because I think there's more to gain from helping people than from trying to protect myself right now. Okay. So let's just see what happens. I have no idea what the negative implications can be. So please be kind. All right. Now, Matt, we're going to stop this live feed right now. For everybody who's watching right now, and how many are there? Okay.
Should I type the phone number in the chat?
Not right now. Not this one. We'll do that in the live chat. Okay. All right, guys. Just give us 5 minutes. I'm going to take a quick bathroom break because I have a feeling we're going to be here for a while. And no, we're not talking about kitchens or anything else tonight. Today, it's going to be all about this kind of mess. Okay. Thanks, Max. Apparently, we still had the yellow light in the room. It was conflicting with what was going on. You got to love it. Okay. Lots of people here to help us be as efficient as we can around here with our studio. Yeah. All right. So we're going to head out. Cheers. There are 700 people watching. There's only 400 likes. Hit the thumbs up button. If you're watching on a television, get a different device. Watch this live show. Hit the like button. Share this message. Help people out. It's your civic duty to get off your butt and do something to help them. This video is going to help them. All right. Our channel is going to be here to help them. So let's all work together and get this done. We'll see you in a few minutes. Cheers.